Next, we'll go to Senator Grassley.
My questions are relevant to someone who has been nominated for a senior leadership position within an agency tasked with securing our border and enforcing our immigration laws. Do you believe that illegally crossing the border between ports of entry should remain a crime under federal law?
Senator, I do.
Do you agree that sanctuary jurisdictions, meaning localities that refuse to comply with ICE detainer requests, are an impediment to enforcing federal immigration law?
Senator, I think it's very important that local communities do work with federal agencies that include ICE and the Border Patrol. And I appreciate your question. I think there have been some legitimate issues raised about the risk that communities may be in when they are enforcing detainers as opposed to making arrests. We have been advised in several of the communities I worked in that by our legal advisors and city attorneys that we should have an arrest warrant to be holding individuals for ICE.
What are your views on the notice to report process that has been implemented by CBP in recent months?
Senator, I appreciate the question, and obviously the better practice would be to have individuals be noticed to appear as opposed to notice to report. I understand that because we have not had enough asylum officers or immigration judges, and that's not just recently, that's been really over the past 4 years, and also because we have some very long waits for people to come before a proceeding, we have a real challenge on our hands. And so I think this is something that Congress is going to play a very important role in helping to fix, but I think this is definitely what we have now, a broken system.
On a legal point on the same matter, what in your view is a statutory basis for notice to report process?
Senator, thank you for the question, and that's something that I'm not knowledgeable about at this time, but that I would want to learn more about. I can tell you this, however, if confirmed, I believe our primary role has to be to enforce the law, and I would make that commitment to you.
Since you felt you weren't able to answer that question because of not maybe knowing the basis of it, would you respond to that question in writing then about the statutory basis for notice to report?
Senator, I'd be happy to do that.
Do you believe that it's necessary to maintain the Title 42 public health expulsion order at the border, particularly since about 15% of the people crossing the border are positive?
Senator, as I think I indicated in my opening statement, as a paramedic for 10 years, public health has always been one of my top concerns. And because of that, I think it's absolutely imperative that we do everything possible to stop the spread of COVID. And Title 42 is a CDC authority, and it helps. I think it helps with this. CBP certainly has a responsibility with implementing this policy. But here's the bottom line, Senator. I will always comply with the law, even as it changes, perhaps, regarding Title 42, no matter what it is that the courts decide.
What are your views on the scope of the humanitarian exceptions to Title 42 expulsion orders and the extent to which they should be utilized?
Senator, I appreciate the question, but again, this is an area that I think coming in from the outside, I would need to learn more about. I'm not aware of as much information as I'd like to be in order to answer that question at this time.
Okay.